Hey, we're here live, Facebook Live, with one of my favorite people, and it's not just because of his last name. It's because the knowledge this guy brings for many, many years, Dr. Steven Sinatra. Well, listen, hey, Steve, I thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it because these people are going to hear about what you're going to be discussing at the seminar. And this is a topic that I think recently just caught attention of people, right? Vibration. The cells can vibrate, grounding, EMFs have hit all these things that, are causing our cells to vibrate wrong, wrong frequencies. But I mean, I'm telling you, this is a message, right? That just seems like it exploded. But, you have 40 years as I call you the cardiologist of the stars. I mean, you've been on Fox News, you've been there, pretty much, I mean, every news station, every major station interview.
CNN, right? Fox, the Oz show. I've been all over.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're a guy that, hey, you know a lot about a lot of topics, obviously the heart, but come on, man, how did you get involved in this? I mean, when people said, we want to hear more about this topic, I said, oh my gosh, we got to bring Sinatra to the seminar, and okay, you're not talking about cardiology, but how did you get into this?
Well, it's a lot of it has to do with my background. I mean, I'm a trained internist. I did 2 extra years in cardiology. I'm a board certified cardiologist. And then I got trained in psychotherapy. And then I got trained in nutrition. I took the boards from the American College of Nutrition. And after practicing cardiology for more than 40 years, it's only been in the last couple of years where I've really realized that the essence of health is the vibratory state of our cells. In other words, if our cells vibrate at a higher frequency, to me, that's a marker of health. And Dan, let's face it, even prehistoric man knew that all life depended on a pulsating heart. Mm-hmm. And as a heart specialist, I've been at, oh my God, so many different cardiac arrests. I mean, I've been at the bedside of more cardiac arrests than you can shake a stick at. I mean, I've been in a cardiac cath lab. I was the director of a CCU. I mean, I've seen it all. And to me, what optimum health really is really optimizing the vibration of, our organs, our tissues, but we got to go down to the cellular level. And if we can help our cells vibrate in a healthy way and avoid all the toxins in the environment, and boy, that's a discussion in itself. I mean, people don't realize how toxic the environment is. I mean, look, EMF. I was preaching on EMF 12 years ago, electromagnetic forces, right? From cell phone, cordless phone, Wi-Fi, all this stuff. People can't see, feel, and taste electromagnetic waves.
Yeah.
But they're insidiously, adversely affecting our health.
Yeah.
So that's a way to bring down your vibration. So what I want to talk about in your conference is ways to increase our vibration. Mm-hmm. And be aware of the ways that can take down our vibration, because at the end of the day, we want our cells vibrant, alive. Because I really believe after 40 plus years of being a physician, I believe the reason why we get sick is because the vibration of our cells goes down. And they've shown that in cancer, right. Low voltage in cancer cells. They've shown that. Right. So basically, it's all about ATP and adenosine triphosphate and energy, and that's what it boils down to.
Look, my specialty is cellular detox. I'll be teaching it, of course, at the seminar, and my other aspects of my multi-therapeutic approach. Look, this goes hand in glove with what I'm teaching, right? My principle is you have to fix the cell to get well. You have to detox the cell to get well. And, this whole thing of the cell vibration, there's a whole nother aspect of this, because you mentioned the EMF, you mentioned grounding. These are things that are in our modern age. And it's a reason why a lot of people's cells don't detox properly. And a lot of reasons why our doctors aren't able to get people from here to here. So what science? Is there science that talks about the cell? I've read some of it, but tell them.
Oh, yeah. There's lots of science, but what really intrigued me recently was this data by MIT researchers where they were looking at red blood cells. And, we know that the red blood cells replace themselves every 120 days in the body. The spleen takes out the tired ones and basically we make new ones. But these MIT researchers actually demonstrated that these cells, these red blood cells, when the voltage goes down in the cells, that the spleen can take them out. And they looked at malaria victims, for example, people with malaria, and they realized that, it all comes down to vibration. And as a heart specialist, I mean, vibration is the key to life. And we need to breathe more vibration into our cellular function. And you're a cellular specialist, and you're a detox specialist. And I'll tell you, I heard a frightful statistic. I mean, and I don't mean to scare anybody, but when I was at Dr. Cadden's conference in Orlando, Andrew Wakefield from England came over and he spoke.
Yeah, we know Andrew. Matter of fact, Andrew's going to be speaking at this event.
Oh, wonderful. You mean the one in April that I'm going to?
Yes.
Oh, my God. I could hear that. Hey, listen to me.
14 and 15.
I could hear that guy all day long. I mean, I resonate with that guy. Talk about resonance.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the audience and I'm buzzing about what he's saying. And when he dropped this statistic about 2031, are you privy to that about the autistic rate?
2032.
32, right.
1 in 2 kids on the autism spectrum.
And males. 1 in 2 males. That's what he said.
Males, yeah.
Remember, girls are a little bit protected. I think it has to do with the XX chromosome, as far as the XY. But hey, listen, what's going to happen to humanity? I mean, listen, we're at a crossroads here. It's not my age group, but it's your age group. You guys, the generation behind me, you guys got to carry the ball here because there's a lot at stake. And we health professionals, we're just learning about it. Can you imagine the people that don't even know about this?
No.
I mean, this is serious stuff.
Yeah.
We're eating GMO foods. I mean, there's electromagnetics in the environment. There are so many things that bring down the vibration. And if you believe what Wakefield says, about this whole thing about autistic spectrum disorder. I mean, listen, we all got to go to conferences to empower ourselves because I really think what's happening right now is when we go to these conferences and we listen to the experts and we empower ourselves, at least we can bring it back to our friends, family, our patients and deliver it in our own inner circles. But I'll tell you, the textbooks of cardiology, the journals, they are so far behind. I mean, I just submitted an article to a journal. I got to wait a year and a half before it comes out. And with technology, everything changes in like 3 months. I mean, it's doubling and doubling and doubling. So I think conferences are the most exciting way and the most direct way and the immediate way we get this information downloaded to us. So I'm looking forward to your conference in April. I mean, hey, listen, I have a lot to say, but I have a lot to learn as well. I mean, listen, I can sit in the audience and soak all this information up as well. So I'm really excited about going.
I always say every seminar I have, I'm like gosh, I learned so much. So I get excited about my own seminars. Not just the speakers we have are tremendous. So I love the learning as well. So look, when we look at the factors that are changing the vibration of the cell, right? And obviously certain cells, resonate at certain frequencies. And when we change that, it's disruptive to every function of the cell. What would you say the number one thing that's affecting the cells today? And I know it's a combination of things. We talked about toxins, but what do you think the biggest factor is?
Really? Honestly, I think it's sugar. I think it's sugar. I mean, I can name EMF, I can name GMO foods, insecticides, pesticides, heavy metals. I can go down, I can go through that whole, cascade, and we're all affected by it. But what's happening in our societies? I mean, we got to look at the data. Diabetes is skyrocketing. The incidence of diabetes is going up like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
And we got to look at that. And basically, if you look at what's happening, the average American is eating more and more sugar every day. Now, this is amazing. And I want to talk about this at the conference, but I don't have time to talk about it now. But when we did a study on grounding, we realized that if we took grounded rats in a cage and measured hemoglobin A1Cs and blood sugars, the grounded rats had a lower blood sugar. Now, what happened in the 1950s, Dan? What happened? We started walking on ungrounded, neoprene, rubber, right? You know, it
Yeah.
was the Adidas generation, the Nike
Remember,
generation.
you yelled at me for my shoes that day, right? I thought
That's right. I took
yeah,
my
because
shoe off and
know,
I showed
someone
you
like
these
high touch
leather.
shoes. I had these great Prada shoes on, man, but the dang soles were rubber. And right, so that there interferes with the grounding right there.
See, people don't realize that when you're walking on rubber, sneakers, neoprene, you're disconnected from the energy of the earth. And we know, and this is new research. We've only done this research in the last 5 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that when you're grounded to the earth and you take in Mother Earth energy or the Schumann effect, this generates remarkable changes in the body. I mean, so many changes. I can't go into it right now, but I will tell you this. One of the changes when you ground is you get a lower blood sugar. And we showed that in rats. So what's happened in America is the perfect storm.
Yes.
The perfect storm. Here's what's happened. We ungrounded our kids. We're not working on leather anymore. When I was 8 years old, I walked to school in leather. And by the way, nobody walks to school anymore. They're not getting the exercise. So they're not burning up the sugar. You know, in other words, without exercise, the sugar hangs out in the serum. It doesn't get inside to your cells. You know that.
Yeah.
You know. So basically, the perfect storm has happened. We're not exercising as a population. We're busing our kids to school. We're loading fast foods, a lot of sugar in the environment. We're eating tons of sugar. We're ungrounded. It's the perfect storm for cellular, mismatch. And what's happening is the insulin's not getting into the cells, and we're not metabolizing the sugar. And that's just one thing. One thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, listen,
there's a myriad of stuff that we got to look at.
You nailed me on the shoes, and then you were talking about, and I'm sure you will in this lecture, about sleeping, in grounding the bed, right? And recently, I just reached back out to you. I'm like, okay, I got to ground my bed because I read something more, right? It's like sleeping and how so many things are affecting us, when we're sleeping, and that's 8-9 hours right there. Well, hopefully for people 8 or 9 hours, but you talked about the grounding of the bed. I mean, that's a huge deal.
Dan,
because you want to talk about flowing off your vibration.
I mean, you're a physiologist. I mean, you know this information, but basically, the incidence of diabetes is skyrocketing. The incidence of Alzheimer's disease, where we're getting thought disorders, for example, memory disorders, that's skyrocketing as well. And it's not just in my age group; it's happening in 40 and 50-year-olds. I mean, and what's happening is that the environment's becoming so toxic that we need to discharge these toxins. And remember this, the brain regenerates at night. In other words,
Absolutely.
So if you're not sleeping well, for example, if you have so much EMF in the house, electromagnetic waves, and it's interfering with the melatonin in your brain, in other words, the melatonin is ineffective right now because of EMF. I mean, and a lot of doctors don't even understand this. They don't get it. But when you're not sleeping, you're not regenerating. If you're not regenerating, your brain is suffering. And look, we can take resveratrol and turmeric and CoQ10 and omega-3s. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, I take these by the handfuls. But we really need to protect our delicate brains today, because with the toxic environment and the lack of sleep that we're undergoing as a society, it's the perfect storm.
But by the way, I was just at the A4M conference, and a gentleman was doing a lecture on the brain detoxes at night, right? I mean, we know now, and this is a new study, that the lymph literally, and it happens in delta sleep at night. Right. So when you're grounded properly at night, you don't get into enough delta sleep. EMFs interfere with the delta sleep. And of course, blue light before bed interferes with delta sleep. So we have a lot of factors today that we didn't have, whatever years ago, that are affecting with delta sleep. And that deep delta sleep is where the brain detoxes, and it's affecting people. Matter of fact, his statistics show the massive increase in Alzheimer's and dementia is because the brain's not able to detox because of the things you're talking about. And again, it talks about the vibration of the cell.
No, all right, it's true. And again, it's just this perfect storm. There's so much to talk about at this conference that, we got to focus on certain areas. And it's important that it's important for people to really take this in. I mean, it's so scary right now. And when I sat in the audience and heard Wakefield with that alarming statistic, 1 in 2 males, I mean, it's up to the medical profession to step up to the plate. We got to do something now.
Yeah, that statistic, when I first heard it, I think I first heard it from Stephanie Seneff. I almost didn't believe it.
Oh, with the vaccines and everything.
Even know what I know, I almost didn't believe it until you understand what exactly is happening. We're inheriting lead and mercury from our mother in utero. It's from the womb to the tomb. Now with glyphosate. Glyphosate is a new player. It's allowing, according to her studies, it's allowing these toxins to cross deeper into the brain. So this generation is being affected by that. They're infected by the increase in EMF. Not like you said, all these things that are, changing the vibration of the cells, not being grounded. It is a perfect storm. And then you realize that statistic, it's real. I mean, there's no doubt it's real. And man, that drives me. I'm telling you, it does. It drives me. So listen, we could go on and on. You go ahead. Have a last word.
I want to say one thing. One of the reasons why I really enjoy conversing with you is because you walk your talk. I mean, see, doctors that walk their talk, and doctors that believe in this so much that they wire their homes with wired computers. They get the Wi-Fi out of the homes. They sleep grounded. They do fasting like you do. They build ketones into the brain for clearer thinking and everything else. In other words, when you get a conference of doctors that literally walk their talk, the audience that we hope will do the same thing. And when they bring that information home, this incredible information that you can't get it anyplace else. Yeah. I mean, let's face it. You're not going to read this in books, later on you will, but everything's changing so fast. Is that if you can take the energy from a health provider that literally walks their talk and take in their enthusiasm and their message, once you can do that, you can get a metamorphosis in your own body, and then you can tell your clientele, your wife, your kids, whoever needs to listen to it. No, that's the way we got to save America. That's the way we got to get people involved.
You know what? I'm able to affect, you're right, man, because I'm able to affect the people that I affect, the number of people that I affect, because I live it to lead it. And by the way, you didn't even know that. That's the title of the conference, Live It to Lead It.
Really?
So, yeah. One of the things we're doing, we're taking people, we actually intermittent fasting everybody there. So everyone's coming is going to experience fasting. You're going to experience testing your glucose and ketones, like I do, to see, what's going on in your body. Is your body burning muscle or is it burning fat? We're gonna teach you all that. It's fun. We live it to lead it, because all the docs, there's a half the audience is living this, right? They're changing lives on a huge level, and I'm telling you, if you haven't been to one of these seminars, man, I would pay to go to this seminar. I'm telling you, because that's I know the last one, it's like I left there. I told my wife right away, I'm like, oh my God, that was life-changing. She's like, it was. I mean, that was my story, because I sat there. This Andrea Schreck, she's doing this new cancer research. She got a standing ovation. Del Bigtree, who's been out on the road lecturing with Andy. I mean, standing ovation. I mean, it was just, I'm telling you, it was phenomenal. This seminar, I think it's going up a notch. So
wait a minute.
Y'all got to be
life-saving. Remember that.
It is. It's life-saving.
It could save your life. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, well, listen, you docs need this information to save your lives and your family's life. Exactly. Believe me, you do. But you need it because you have to be doing this to get people well today. You do. You have to understand the vibration of the cell and how to fix that. I'm telling you, Stephen, I'm thank you. You're bringing this message, and those listening, right here, just get on. It's April 13, 14, and 15. And this is the best price you get. That's why we're doing this. We're promoting the seminar ahead of time. So do it, man. Join us. Stephen, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Looking forward to seeing you in mid-April.
Listen, you lecture at every big seminar. You get lecture invites, obviously, everywhere. So the fact you're at the Health Center of the Future, Live It to Lead It seminar, God has a purpose in that.
All right, I'm all in.
Well, listen, I know you and I know we're going to do we have to do at least a good Italian meal, Sinatra. Come on, you better sing Fly Me to the Moon,
Maybe I can bring my pasta sauce and we can eat it at your seminar. Yeah.
Bring some olive oil for us too, man, right?
All right, sounds good.
And you better sing Fly Me to the Moon, Come on.
Fly Me to the Moon. I can only sing in church, Dan. I can't sing, I can't carry a note. Only with a
name like Sinatra. Come on, you gotta tone it up a little bit. You gotta take it up a notch. Listen, you come to the seminar, we're gonna get them to sing something. All right. Listen, we'll see you there, man. I'm excited for it. I love spending time with you too, Doc.
All right. God bless. We'll see you soon.
Thank you all.
All right. Bye-bye.